So there are two channels of transmission of the external shocks. The first one, and more explicitly known, is trade. So, as you know, we are a small and open economy, exporting to EU countries. EU is our largest partner, especially Germany.
Uh-huh.
So, if the crisis will hit the Germany economy, to some point we will feel that
The shocking.
the shock, yeah. But on the other side, as you know, in the last 2 or 3 years in the free economic zones, we have some new investors, especially Johnson Matthey, which actually this year has a huge export toward Germany, and also it adds to our export structure. So till now we have only the metal sector that was dominating in the export structure and textile industry. Nowadays we have some automotive industries that which is good from this point of view. On the other side, as we can see from the trade data, there is some geographical diversification of our export towards some countries like China. On the first moment, we have some pressures on our international reserves, but still, the level of the reserves was adequate for. If we take some indicators for that adequacy, like a coverage of the 3 months coverage of the next year export and import. So we have a small shock on our reserves, but in the period following it was
recovered.
Yeah. In the central bank, we are an independent institution from the government. Stay on that side. So here on the regular basis we have the macroeconomic projections, which I can say they are credible. As public receives our information as the most credible one. Credit growth doesn't depend on us. It depends on the banks, of their vision about the risks, about the weights that they give to the risk coming on. So this is their decision. What we have done in the last 2 years, it's our key policy rate on the central banking bills. This is the instrument for the sterilization of the excess liquidity in the system, since we are fighting about the exchange rates to keeping the fixing of the exchange rate. So this is our main policy rate of the central banking bills is for this year and the last year. Starting from the end of the last year, it is on a level of 4%, which is the historical low level. So this is our contribution to the economy, keeping the low interest rate, so giving the signal to the banks that they have enough space for crediting the private sector. Then our credits, then our loans, it is approximately around 8%, and on foreign currency loans, it's around 5.7%. Yes, we have some meetings with the supervisionary department in our bank, and the governor actually, and we do consider the new changes in Basel III, and we try to incorporate the new decisions into our supervisionary framework. So we are on that part of our role in our system, in the financial system, we are on the prudency side. On the daily basis, we look at the balance sheet of the banks, and they are stable. I can say, and from this point of view, we still don't have some pressures in the balance sheets. Yes, we'll have a lot of then the preparation for the European Union access. So, as I know that we should have the new department within the bank that will dealing about regulations and about preparing the reports and reporting to the ECB. So this one part of this will be one part of our responsibility as the central bank, but also we should have some to take some reforms in our payment system. So this is another segment of our EU preparing for the European Union. I'm responsible for is the central banking cooperation, the forex reserve management, payment system, and accounting, actually the finance. So I'm responsible for the financial markets and investment of our forex reserves. So this is like a core of the central bank responsibility. And we have the supervision, which is run by the general director. This is the manager who is directly responsible and to give the answers to the governor. So we have another part. Our banks are very conservative in a way of their activity. So we don't have investment banking. It's only retail, and they're mostly domestically funded by the deposits of the households, and they don't have huge exposure to the mother banks. So it makes our system very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the reason why in 2009 we don't have a huge shock from the
Crisis.
global financial crisis. Yes, and this is the reason why we don't expect and now to have some spillover effect from the financial instability in Europe. As I said, that our supervision is probably the best in the region.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the source for stability of the banking system. We have the stable banks, but on the other side they have a huge liquidity. For a long time we live with that excess liquidity like nowadays the Fed has, and we have a huge reputation in the public. This is probably for our commitments for many years that we'll keep the fixed exchange rate, and we actually succeed in those our goals. So the people are receiving the central bank as very stable institution, so very responsible. Okay, I can say that they can see our history, our good practice of macroeconomic stability, of prudent demand management, of fiscal and monetary policy. They can everything that they can compare is in the numbers. So they can see the low inflation, the fixed exchange rate, the commitments to stay with the fixed exchange rate. Also, they can see our external debt, that we are one of the countries with the lowest level of external and also public debt. So the budget balance is in deficit these 2 years, but comparing with some other countries, it is sustainable. So everything that I can say, actually the numbers can say.